This story is not about cheating, not exactly. It's about the internet's obsession with morality. It's about how a pop star became public enemy #1. Again, because it's not her first time. We don't forget the licking of the donut. It's about girl code, emotional timelines, and the very thin line between bad optics and actual betrayal. This is the story of Ariana Grande, Ethan Slater, and the Homewrecker scandal that had the internet foaming at the mouth. But what if it's not that simple? What if this story is less about what happened and more about why we reacted the way we did? Because we don't just cancel people for what they do, we cancel them for what we think they've done before. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's unpack the mess, one receipt at a time. This isn't gossip, it's just context. All right, let's draw the scene. It all started in July 2023. Ariana Grande was filming Wicked in the UK, playing Galinda. Her co-star Ethan Slater played Bach. On the surface, everything looked fine, but behind the scenes, Ariana had quietly separated from her husband, Dalton Gomez. Then, headlines dropped like bombs. Ariana Grande is dating Ethan Slater. The internet freaked out, like not because she was moving on, but because Ethan Slater was married. Not only that, he had just welcomed a baby with his wife, Lilly Jay. Within hours, Twitter rebranded Ariana, not as a Grammy-nominated icon, not as a pop culture staple, but as a homewrecker. Okay, she was trending for all the wrong reasons. She ruined a family. She's a serial boyfriend snatcher. She has no respect for women. But the real question is, was this hate really about Ethan, or was it about Ariana's history? Let's rewind, because Ariana's been here before. In 2014, she started dating rapper Big Sean. At the time, he had just ended things with Naya Rivera, his fiance. But according to Naya's 2016 memoir, the relationship wasn't as ended as everyone thought. She claimed she showed up at Sean's house one day and found Ariana already there.
You talk about walking into his house and seeing him sitting with.
That is the most hilarious thing that's like splashed all over the internet and getting like blown up.
Yeah, well, it is one of those things because it was with Ariana Grande. He was sitting there. Tell me the tea, spill it.
I never said they were cuddling.
Yeah.
I never said he cheated. I said she was sitting on a couch.
Right. Which is kind of weird, though, if you haven't heard from your fiance.
And then you walk into his house, and there she is.
No, draw your own conclusions.
Right.
But I said she was sitting on a couch.
That's exactly what you said.
There were no confirmations, no denials, just silence and rumors. In 2016, Ariana collaborated with Mac Miller. Their song The Way was a hit, and their chemistry unmistakable. They started dating, people adored them. They looked cute, they made music, they had matching tats. But in 2018, they broke up. Weeks later, literally weeks, she was engaged to Pete Davidson. The internet's reactions? Whiplash. Okay, Pete had just broken up with Cassie David, daughter of Larry David. Cassie later said she found out about their split right before Pete went public with Ariana. Once again, the timeline looked messy. To a lot of people, it felt like Ariana had a pattern, getting close to men fresh out of breakups, jumping into new relationships fast, creating overlap, even if unintentional. So by the time the Ethan Slater scandal hit, the public didn't need a deep dive. They already had a story in their heads. Ariana was the common denominator. Before Ethan, there was Dalton. Dalton Gomez, high-end real estate agent, quiet, private, the opposite of famous. He and Ariana began dating in early 2020. They quarantined together, fell in love, and got married in a tiny ceremony in 2021. To most fans, this was Ariana's grown-up era. No messy timelines, no tabloid drama, just peace. 2 years later, they separated. No big fight, no scandal, just distance. Sources claimed their lives didn't align anymore. She was traveling nonstop. He wanted stability, but yet you out here posting pictures with random girls. We ain't gonna get into it. Still, people wondered, was Ethan already in the picture when the marriage ended? The question alone caused a storm, because if Ariana had already started something new while still legally married, well, it's giving deja vu. Okay, not to mention, and I don't think this story would carry that much weight if his wife didn't speak out. Ethan Slater's wife, Lilly Jay, was not here for the speculation, okay? She told Page Six, Ariana's the story, not a girl's girl. My family's just collateral damage. That quote alone went viral. The internet ate it up. TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, people immediately took her side. She wasn't just a woman scorned. She was a new mom. The sympathy was instant. The internet labeled Ariana the villain. No further context needed. But again, there were things we didn't know, like were Ethan and Lilly already separated? Was their marriage already struggling before Ariana entered the picture? Had they grown apart after the baby was born? No one asked those questions because Ariana was the easier target. There's somebody walking on my roof. Now let's be real. Not all the backlash was irrational. There were some valid points made by the public. Number one, numero uno, fast transitions look suspicious. Even if everyone was technically single, moving from one relationship to another without breathing room can feel shady. Number two, patterns matter. When someone repeatedly dates emotionally unavailable or recently attached people, it starts to look intentional, even if it isn't. And number three, she didn't say anything. In the world where everyone shares everything, silence can look like guilt. Ariana never publicly clarified the timeline. No statement, no defense. Fans were left to assume the worst. But let's ask a tougher question. Why did most of the hate fall on Ariana and not Ethan? Ethan Slater was the one who was married. He had a baby. He made vows. Yet somehow he became a side character in his own scandal. Yes, people criticized him, but the rage? The memes, the Homewrecker title, all aimed at Ariana. There's something about blaming the woman that feels automatic. Now, this isn't a feminist rant, it's just an observation. We hold women responsible for men's actions all the time. And if she's famous, confident, or has a past, it's even easier. Throughout all of this, Ariana said nothing. No TikTok, no cryptic tweets, no podcast interview to tell her side, even though she did do a little tidbit on the Zach Sang show, which really wasn't anything really. When people don't get the facts, they create their own narrative, and that itself can be very dangerous. They filled in the blanks with gossip, fan theories, and out of context clips. And the story that emerged was of a woman who couldn't stand being alone, who jumped from man to man regardless of who got hurt. Was that true? We still don't know, but that's what silence cost in the public eye. Weeks after the headlines, Ethan filed for divorce from Lilly. He and Ariana were spotted out together, holding hands, smiling, looking pretty unbothered. And that image, it was like salt in the wound for a lot of fans. They wanted guilt. They wanted contrition. They wanted them to look like they'd done something wrong. Instead, they looked like a normal couple, and that made people even angrier. Okay guys. So here's the messy truth. Maybe everyone's a little bit right and a little bit wrong. Maybe Ariana doesn't intend to hurt people. Maybe she just has really bad timing. Maybe she forms deep emotional bonds too quickly and doesn't process endings before starting new beginnings. That doesn't make her evil, but it doesn't make her blameless either. Maybe Ethan was already emotionally checked out of his marriage. That still doesn't mean his actions were honorable. And Lilly, she's grieving not just a husband, but the future she planned for her child. Her hurt is valid, but pain doesn't always equal betrayal. This isn't a fairy tale. No one wears white. No one's totally clean. What this scandal really shows is how obsessed we are with moral judgment. We want to play jury even when we don't know the full case. We want to punish people who remind us of things we've been through. We want clear villains, clear heroes, clear guilt. But relationships don't work that way. Not in real life, not in Hollywood. We forget that these are humans. Flawed, confused, emotional humans making decisions we might never understand. And sometimes there's no villain, just heartbreak. So, was Ariana Grande a homewrecker? Was Ethan Slater a cheater? Did they ruin lives or just step into the wreckage of already broken relationships? The truth is, we may never know. And maybe that's okay, because the internet doesn't need a definitive answer. It needs something else. Grace, nuance, and a reminder that not every headline tells the whole story. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with me today. If this made you think differently or just made you curious, drop a comment below. I'd love to know your take, a different perspective, if you will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.